The one that is my favorite of it is I have a lovely and I also I'm not wordless.
Just says that at 82, I think Wholeness was funded at 41. So I assume that's what he said.
And so it's something like that because it's from a clear writer. She stated that I would love to play. There's a group in the UK that's like a professional.
I know what it says. Sorry, that's
Either one. I'm happy with either one.
And it actually went on Broadway, opened just an hour. So I'm like, so it's
Well, I was just like a chapter in the back of my car, you know, right there.
Yeah.
Coffee and
Yeah.
probably open all the buttons.
Her odds were better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would have not seen it if you hadn't said something, so thank you. Okay.
I mean, that's, yeah, but then you have the whole thing. Maybe I put my elf and I can just, you know, put
yeah,
things
but
down.
that's when you get started.
Pull them up like that.
Yeah, you need everything.
I mean, pull around and park in front of the garage.
Right now,
So, you know, grill party.
Good morning. Welcome to Auburn Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, located on the occupied ancestral land of Muskogee Creek Nation. My name is Norika Aoi, and I'm your service associate today. Welcome to this morning, this day, and this opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, comfort, and sometimes challenges. This Unitarian Universalist congregation is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We are not here because we figured out life's questions or because we think we've got it right. We come here to learn more about being in a relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. On behalf of the members of the fellowship, I extend a special welcome to all visitors who are joining us for the first time, and to those of you who still feel like visitors. If you have not already done so, please fill out our visitor book at the front near the greeters, or digitally by visiting auuf.org/visitor. You may also contact our minister, Reverend Rothbauer, at the minister@auuf.org with any questions or concerns you may have. As we prepare for our service this morning, please remember to turn your phone and other electronic devices to silent. Let us move into the service, willing to be authentic with each other, honest within ourselves, and open to connection in all its forms.
Our opening words this morning are from Sweet Home Teacup. May we recognize and abandon the familiar attitudes and practices that do not serve the whole. We are who we are, and we have the opportunity to be who we want to be, to create a new inheritance for the future. May our thoughts, words, and actions in our daily lives assist in dismantling paradigms of oppression and suffering. May we give thanks for our individual place in time and space, to our families and our relationships that touch and change us. May we give thanks to wise teachers who help us remember how to be and the chance to make it so. Underneath and within these stories and histories is our humanity. Being human means we are of this earth. We are these waters. We are fire and atmosphere. We are the sun and the moon and the stars. We are all that we see, and the wisdom is revealed by looking in between.
We light our chalice this morning with these words from Maureen Killoran. For every time we make a mistake and we decide to start again, we light this chalice. For every time we are lonely and we let someone be our friend, we light this chalice. For every time we are disappointed and we choose to hope, we light this chalice. As is our tradition, we also light a candle in solidarity with those families separated at our southern border. This morning marks the third Sunday in the season of Advent. In the Christian tradition, Advent is the beginning of the church year, recognizing the transforming power of God in the world and looking forward toward the birth of Jesus in celebration of the spiritual light. Each week until Christmas, we light a new candle on the Advent wreath. When so much asks for our attention, the lighting of one candle after another reminds us that this season must pass in its own time. Birth cannot be rushed. We have the choice to be awakened and fully inhabit the present moment. The light of Advent grows brighter and brighter as we celebrate our coming together as a community. This morning, we light the third candle. We light this candle as a symbol of joy, not just any simple cheer, but experience of joy that cannot be contained. Advent asks us to proclaim our gladness as a gift to the world, even when sorrow and uncertainty abound. May we share our hearts through our words, our music, and the way we live our lives. Let the fullness of our joy lead to more freedom. Our opening hymn, hymn number 1002, in the team hymnal, Comfort Me. One of the ways that we proclaim the warmth and the caring of community is by sharing our joys, concerns, and milestones. If you're joining us virtually, we invite you to type your joy, concern, or milestone in the YouTube chat box. We invite those in person to, one at a time, drop a pebble into a communal bowl during the music or meditation. I invite you, if you have a joy, concern, or milestone, to come forward one at a time and briefly share it into the microphone.
Hey, I'm Chris. A joy/concern. The concerning part, Lacey hit a deer on her way to work on Friday. She's fine. Miraculously, the deer appears to have lived to tell the tale. And the van is in the shop, probably with a busted radiator. So all it turned out as well as possible, but be careful out there, everybody.
I have to have something to hang and hold on to.
Connie, over here. Over here.
No, I can't because I have to.
We'll hold on to you, but don't go up the stair, okay?
Oh, okay, because I had a bad fall and.
Okay.
I'll stand here and hold on
to you as long as you need me, okay?
No, you stay right here. Okay. Last week I told you about Rand and the insulin shot, but I'm smiling and smiling. I have to tell you, I've got a photo of oldest of the three grandchildren, and she's a band director in the Denver, Colorado area, and she bought a Santa suit. And there she is. Yeah, I'm okay. There she is. I don't know whether you say conducting or directing her middle school kids in her Santa suit. And I just laugh and smile. Martha's laughing. And I'm just learning how to use my smartphone. It's really a dumb phone. And my land phone has been out of order, and they're coming this afternoon. Spectrum is coming this afternoon to fix it. But I just smile when I see Santa with Hannah in it, directing like this. I just laugh and laugh. And sometimes we really need something to laugh and smile at. And she's, okay, well, that's it. So I want you to laugh and smile every time you think. Sometimes we just really need something to smile and laugh over. Okay, bye-bye.
I'm Stephanie Ostrowski, Camilla Herschel's daughter. Oh, okay. I'm Stephanie Ostrowski, Camilla Herschel's daughter, and just want to say, most of you know, Monday was a milestone, her 90th birthday, and we're so thankful and delighted, those of you who came and joined us for that, but also want to just say thanks to everybody who helped to make it, a joyful occasion. We couldn't have had a better venue. We couldn't have had a greater sense of joy and happiness. We reconnected with a lot of relatives and friends, and it was nice to feel part of this community and have your support in doing that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of Robert and me, Amy. We had our 29th annual vining yesterday in spite of the 100% chance of rain, which didn't start until, 2? So we were very happy with that. Laura has already brought a lot of the wreaths that were made yesterday, and we have some more in my car. We have materials. It was such a joyful event yesterday, and we can make it another joyful event today when we hang these wreaths, and we have materials for making a few more or embellishing what we've got. So 11:30 after coffee, come over and help us hang Nature's Bounty.
I'm thinking about all the folks this morning in the Midwest rather, who were affected by the tornadoes over the weekend, especially the people in Kentucky. The closest UU congregation is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and they're okay, but there's devastation within a mile of their congregation. And there's probably close to 100 people dead, the governor's saying, after multiple factories collapsed. So please keep them in your thoughts. And if there's anything we can do up there, I'll let you all know.
Thank you to all who shared their joys, concerns, and milestones this morning. This joy and concern were submitted in advance for sharing. Judy Collins shares a concern for family health and other issues, but with great gratitude for new medical attention Jim is receiving and for news of Jack Camby's amazingly healed appendix. Yesterday's milestone brings some concern that now at 82, I cannot do all that was fun at 41, I'm sorry. I cannot do all that was fun at 41, but hallelujah anyhow. I am grateful that, as Terry says, each breath is an opportunity. May all the joys, concerns, and milestones of this community, those who shared aloud and those held in silence, be received into the care and concern of all present.
Please join me in the spirit of contemplation in whatever way feels right with these words from Thomas Rhodes. Feel the earth beneath you as it supports you. Feel the love of this community as it surrounds and enfolds you. Feel your breath as it flows in and out of your body. Listen to your heartbeat. Listen to your heart. And how is it with your heart? Does your heart feel whole, shielded by intellect, cocooned by reason, closed to feeling? Or is it broken, fragile to the touch, brimming with the pain of loss? Or has your heart been broken and healed so many times that it now lies open to the world? Knowing that true growth comes not without pain, that tears may wear down barriers, that we may carry the hearts of others, even when our own is too heavy for us to bear. None of us has an unblemished heart, not one, for such perfection can only be found in death, and we who are alive still have much to heal. So let us give thanks for the broken places in our hearts and in our lives, for it is only through such brokenness that we may truly touch one another, and only through touching one another that the world may be healed. Blessed be.
The purpose of Unitarian Universalist communities is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and human beings, in action. More generous in spirit and in action. This is a great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and in compassion. As is our custom on the second Sunday of each month, we now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support an organization in a community whose values align with our own, that is doing amazing work in the Auburn Opelika area. For the month of December, 100% of unpledged donations in our offering basket will go to support the Montgomery Bailout Fund. The Montgomery Bailout Fund is an effort by Montgomery community members to bail our neighbors out of the county jail so they can practice appropriate public health and safety measures among the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. The overcrowding, understaffing, and lack of supplies and maintenance means jails cannot keep people safe from COVID-19. Since bail disproportionately affects Black people and low-income people in Alabama, they are the most likely to be harmed by the spread. The goal of the Montgomery Bailout Fund is to keep our neighbors safe. This means getting as many people as possible out of the Montgomery County Jail and into safe living situations. All money raised by the bail fund goes directly towards bail and other support for people incarcerated in Montgomery. Please give generously this morning as you are willing and able, as we bring the compassionate spirit of Unitarian Universalism into this world. To make a donation online via PayPal, please visit auuf.org/donate. Please indicate in the notes whether your donation is for your pledge or the offering. If you're writing a check, please make your check payable to AUUF with a note on the memo line about whether it is for the offering or your pledge, and drop it in the offering bowl or mail it to P.O. Box 669, Auburn, Alabama 36831. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Let's start all over and see if we can get it.
Voices ring out in the midnight sky. Come and hear them sing in the heavens on high. Joy, a tiny child is born. Let all sing with joy on this Christmas morn. The stars shining brightly on this glorious night will light up the world with joy and delight. Joy to the world, a tiny child is born. Sing of peace, sing of love and goodwill, sing of joy in the valley and to the highest hill. Sing of charity and kindness, sing of giving from the heart, sing of families together and friends far apart. Joy, joy, a tiny child is born. Let all sing with joy on this Christmas morn. The stars shining brightly on this glorious night will light up the world with joy and delight. Joy to the world, a tiny child is born. Sing joy.
A reading from Erica A. Hewitt. We who are Unitarian Universalists not only affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, we also affirm the inherent wholeness of every being, despite apparent brokenness. No one reading these words is a stranger to pain, or the knowledge that things break or break them. Promises, friendship, sobriety, hope, communication. This breaking happens because of a human heart, and our very institutions are frail and imperfect. We make mistakes. Life is messy. Brokenness happens. We are intimately acquainted with the brokenness. Then even as we believe that no matter how fractured we are, or once were, we can make whole people of ourselves. We are whole at our core because of the great, unnameable, sometimes inconceivable love in which we live. As you use, we believe that paying attention to something is an act of love. Witnessing and naming brokenness is how we begin to heal it. Some sorrows demand to be named out loud. My sister died. My body's fragile. I'm scared that I won't be able to pay my rent this month. The streets in my city are filled with violence. Healing begins when we examine what's in pain, wonder how it occurred, and allow it to teach us. In fact, sometimes the brokenness is immense, and the only grasp, the only power we have over that large and complicated pain looming over us is to bear witness, to tell its story, and to seek out companions and helpers who are willing to agree that yes, there is something breaking or messy in front of us. And we will not leave or even look away until repair has begun. If love begins with attention, repair takes a form of compassion, bearing witness, speaking out. Repair looks like connection, justice, or even revolution. It looks like after-school tutoring programs, community meals, and holding signs in front of City Hall. And it begins by placing full trust and faith that there is inherent wholeness in every broken situation.
My colleague, Christopher Buse, tells a story, and I'm not going to read the whole story this morning, but I'm going to paraphrase it for you. The story goes that there was once a little girl by the name of Maggie who was very, very sick. And Maggie was loved by everyone around her. She was just one of those people who radiated happiness. And it came to pass that one day Maggie was visited by 3 people from her community: a doctor, a minister, and a magician. And the doctor said, I'm going to go into my laboratory and do experiments until I discover a medicine that will cure you for your disease. And the minister said, I am going to pray every day that you're going to be healed of this terrible disease. And the magician said, I am going to look through my books of magic until I discover a potion or a spell that will rid you of your disease. And Maggie smiled, because in these words, she realized how much her friends, the doctor, the minister, and the magician, loved her. Well, the three went away to go take up their tasks. And it was during this time that Maggie found out her disease was terminal. And great sadness befell upon the land. And the doctor and the minister and the magician all returned to Maggie with some consternation and some sadness, because they had not been able to heal her. But Maggie told them they had healed her. Maybe not physically, but they had given her exactly what she needed in that moment. She told the doctor that right now, the medicine I need is your friendship. And she told the minister that the prayer I need most is for you to simply be with me. And she told the magician that the magic I need most is your love. And so it came to pass that she eventually died. But although her physical body had not been healed, she knew up until the end how loved she was. And there is something healing in that, in and of itself. Our December theme has been healing, and the covenant groups have been talking quite a bit about, we'll be talking quite a bit about healing in the next few weeks. The biggest problem that we face in our lives, I think, is brokenness. I don't think any of us ever ask for it, but no matter how much we try to flee, it will eventually find us, because life is hard. Suffering is a universal experience. Each of us will eventually suffer, probably in mind, body, and spirit, all three. Because to be hurt is to be alive. Along the way, we'll get hurt by other people who will say and do things that will hurt us, by systems of injustice that oppress, that leave you feeling as if you can't breathe, and by the unavoidable catastrophes of life. And if we're not careful, our bitterness, our brokenness will embitter us. It will affect the way we treat others. How often have you seen someone who's so hurt that they lash out at other people, that they put their pain onto other people? And if we're not careful, we'll transfer it to the next generation. Psychologists and neuroscientists have confirmed that generational transfer of trauma is a real thing. Kids who grow up in traumatic environments will pass that trauma off to their kids and to their kids until finally someone is willing to say stop. But not just this, it affects the quality of your own life. I don't know about you, but I don't like sitting around feeling hurt and bitter and broken. I don't sit around and say, I wish I could feel more pain right now. And it can make us miss out on the important things of life. And here's the other thing about brokenness. We don't always learn how to deal with it. You would think that institutions like the family and the schools and the religious institutions would teach us how to deal with our pain. But so often, they fail. If you have one of the exceptions, I'm very happy for you. But I know for me, I learned to stuff it down, to pretend like it didn't exist. Now, healing is the answer, but it doesn't come automatically. I'm going to tell you one of the phrases that annoys me the most that people utter when they see someone who's hurting. Time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. I don't know about you, but I've met people who have been embittered for most of their lives by the pain that they've experienced. Time does not heal all wounds. And even if it did, what a horrible thing to say to someone in the moment as they're in pain. The author Worth Kilcrease offers a suggested rephrasing of this. Time doesn't heal. It's what you do with the time that does. Time doesn't heal. It's what you do with the time that does. If you're sitting around waiting to feel less pain, maybe space is what you need. But if it's not, that's not going to necessarily heal. It's being willing to engage in the process of healing. It means taking our wounds and turning them into something that makes us stronger than we were before. The UU singer-songwriter Peter Mayer has one of my favorite songs by him is called Japanese Bowl, because there's a line in there that talks about how the brokenness is how the light gets in. If we're able to take our wounds and let the light, the metaphorical light, get into them, healing can happen. And healing is how we grow in life. We might not ever want to be hurt, but it is through the hurts in our lives that we learn we are more powerful than we ever thought. It's not a destination, but a process. Because the world is not a utopia, we're always going to be needing to heal. Probably every one of us in this room right now has something big or small that needs to be healed. And whether we like it or not, there will be more hurt coming our way. I said that my folks in southern Kentucky are on my mind today, and I dare say none of them expected a few days ago that they would be a national news story for this reason. And it will take time to heal. Lots of time sometimes. But it's important that we put the time into it. I want to propose that we need to build ways to heal our lives. Because healing practices remind us not to stuff down the pain like I was taught, but to be aware of it. It can help us uncover hurts we've forgotten about or push down. And I'm going to give some of you a new term today. It helps us avoid spiritual bypassing. Have you ever known one of those people who buys every book from the New Age section they can think of, and they always have this air of fake happiness about them? Spiritual bypassing is a way of using spirituality to avoid healing. So, in my experience practicing in Buddhism, I encountered quite a few of these folks who would meditate not because they were seeking deeper meaning or purpose in their lives, but because they were avoiding things. that they had pushed down for so long. And ironically, if they keep meditating, chances are that stuff is going to come right up to the fore of their thoughts. But for the time, they're spiritual bypassing. And that's the thing. Even if we do that, that sort of relief is only temporary. Spiritual bypassing eventually gives way to the way things are in the world. Now, the opposite of brokenness is not perfection. None of us are perfect. And I don't even know if I want to be perfect, whatever that means. The opposite of brokenness is wholeness. As Parker Palmer, the Quaker writer, says, wholeness does not mean perfection. It means embracing brokenness as an integral part of our lives. We realize that we cannot get away from it. So through healing, we learn that we're already enough. And we learn to transcend the pain, but not to ignore or escape it. And as my colleague Erica Hewitt said in our reading this morning, we learn that we have inherent wholeness. We're all whole. We're just waiting to tap it sometimes. Our healing teaches us that wholeness is waiting for us underneath the pain, and it prepares us for the work ahead. Because as Paulo Coelho said, the pain of yesterday is the strength of today. You are powerful beyond your wildest imaginations. Every one of you. I don't care who you are this morning. And we all have the tools to learn what we need, to know what we need. Sometimes we just forget it. One of the greatest blessings of being an ECPR educator, an emotional CPR educator, has been learning how powerful people are when they listen to themselves. And we need to empower ourselves to do what we need to press on and not just survive, but thrive. I want to propose, as Erica Hewitt did in our reading this morning, that healing is not just an individual act. It's a communal act. You can get so far with individual healing, but I think we want to be seen. Parker Palmer says the human soul doesn't want to be fixed. It simply wants to be seen and heard. Because what we're each looking for are people who can see what we've gone through in our lives. To be heard, the soul needs to be witnessed. To have people, in other words, to have people look at what we've been through and agree that what we've been through is brokenness. To call out injustice when it finds us. And I want to propose, there are many ways we can witness, but I want to propose a simple one this morning. Through storytelling. Narrative therapy and peer support have long realized in the psychological realm that telling our stories can be powerful. Sue Monk Kidd, the novelist, says that as I told my stories of fear, awakening, struggle, and transformation, and had them received, heard, and validated, I found healing. This is because storytelling allows us to tell our stories as we see them. The story doesn't have to be right. It's always going to be our perception of what happens, but it's what we see. Because the psychic wound isn't objective. It is about how we see the world. To truly witness another, we need to listen to them without being defensive or trying to fix them, especially if we were involved in what hurt them. This is why talk therapy is so often effective, because it provides an outlet to be heard without judgment. And you don't need to be a therapist to listen non-judgmentally, only to be able to hear them. It's the difference between active and passive listening, between really listening to someone and just kind of being there while they're talking. And some of us are already doing this, as I know there are quite a few people in the congregation who have been through both emotional CPR and nonviolent communications trainings. These are ways that teach us how to listen non-judgmentally. But it doesn't stop at witnessing. As Erica Hewitt reminds us, the next step after witnessing pain, our own or others, is to repair it to the best of our abilities. We're motivated to make right the pain we witness because since we all know what it's like to be hurt, or at least since I don't know what it's like to be hurt, I don't want to see other people hurt as well. It's not fixing, but it's changing either ourselves or the world to try to avoid that pain from happening again. Richard Gilbert said that I have found deep meaning in the Hebrew phrase tikkun ha'olam, which means repair of the world, for surely the world as is broken. This Jewish practice reminds us that it is a sacred and holy duty of humans to make things right in the world to the best of our ability. As Erica Hewitt reminds us, sometimes all we can do is show up and be present, or show up to a protest, or write a letter to our congressman, things that may not feel big. But if each of us did these things on a regular basis, I'm convinced that they would add up and that they would bring larger healing to the world. Repair helps us face the pain of what happened, and we learn to be better people by righting the wrongs, both our own and those of our systems. And paradoxically, we become better people. We learn to be more empathetic and compassionate to others' pain, and we learn to see the world from another perspective. And healing is not just for us. Sure, it feels good, but at its best, it's to benefit everyone. In some schools of Buddhism, you take the bodhisattva vow that you won't ascend to enlightenment, which is the time that after which you're never reborn again until all beings are enlightened. And that's, to me, the core of healing practice. I'm not going to stop working for healing until everyone's healed. And you might have picked up that since that's really never going to happen in a world that's broken, it's going to be a constant thing, right? But for me, that's okay. Because the goal isn't to create perfection, but to create the conditions by which each of us can live in loving, caring community. And I believe if more of us did this, we could would transform the world. We need more light in this world, because your light will go into those broken places, the cracks in the Japanese bowls, as Peter Mayer put it. And if light comes in through our wounds, then maybe healing is the way we become aware of our own light. If enough of us learn to see our light in this way, as a force to be reckoned with, as a force to bring about healing, I'm convinced we could create beloved community in which everyone is valued. May it be so. Our closing hymn is hymn number 100 in the great hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River.
Please join me in extinguish our chalice. You will find the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be our guest today after the service for our coffee hours outside near the Booth Center. This is an opportunity to check in with folks about the service and how their week has gone. If you are not signed up for our email list, please make sure to do so to receive updates about ways to connect. You can find information on signing up on our website, auuf.org/subscribe. At this time, I invite any spoken announcement. If you have a spoken announcement, please come forward one at a time and briefly speak it into the microphone.
If you could use some healing right now this time of year, this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. will be our first ever Blue Christmas service. And if this is your first time hearing about it, it's a very contemplative service with the idea of just providing space. Because this time of year, there tends to be some enforced joyousness in the air. And if you don't feel like being joyous, come be your authentic self with us. We'll be here at 6:30 p.m. Also, don't forget, next Friday, not this coming Friday. If you come this Friday, you'll be alone. But next Friday will be our annual Christmas Eve service. And there will be a moment for all ages during it. So stay tuned more for that. But please consider this the very last call if you want to do some music for it. Because I'm hoping to get Zenda the order of service this week so she can have plenty of time to print it. So thank you.
Oh, this is last week. We're collecting for holiday helping boxes for the food bank. The TNRE is putting those together. Thank everyone who has donated so far. We're taking donations at the Bush Center, the screened-in porch, and then I transfer them to the teen room. We will be putting those together next Sunday, and then which will give us some time to see if there are any gaps that we can fill in, and then deliver them before Christmas Eve for the food bank. Anyway, thank you all very much.
Again, so on behalf of the Sunday Services Committee, I just wanted to give you a heads up about the service on the 26th, which is lay-led service, and we're calling it the gift service. This is going to be a super informal kind of affair that's about gifts defined very broadly. So maybe you just want to come tell us what your favorite gift was that you got for Christmas. Or maybe you want to gift us with some music. Victoria is going to play some ukulele for us, for example. Or maybe you want to bring items that you would maybe donate to next year's auction and help us match or beat what we made this year. So whatever kind of gifting, giving, donating kind of gets your mind going, just come and tell us what's up. And we'll still have, some of the basic components of our service, but otherwise it'll be a really easygoing thing. So, you can just gift us with your presence. Get it? Ha.
I just want to reiterate that we're going to be decorating in here starting at 11:30. So come join us after you drink some coffee.
Okay, my name is Noriko again. The Diana's Pantry team is collecting Diana's the holiday drive. And then as Amy wrote in the email, I think 2 days ago, that food prices going up, and then we do wanted to help our members and friends of the fellowship who are in the Diana's Pantry program with the gift card before the Christmas. So please help us. So you may put the check into the offering basket, or you can put the cash, maybe the envelope with your name or with the Diana's Pantry holiday drive, and then we'll be glad to have it. And if you know anyone who can be assisted through Diana's Pantry program, here is the preference and contact form, and that will be located in that corner of the room. Thank you. Diana's holiday drive ends at the 19th, so that's next Sunday. Please join us now for our Saint Benediction.
I thought the choir was coming up. No choir.
We'll get our act together eventually.
Go forth into the world in peace, in peace.
Our benediction is from Eric Williams. The world is too beautiful to be praised by only one voice. May you have the courage to sing your part. The world is too broken to be healed by only one set of hands. May you have the courage to use your gifts. May you go in peace. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.